what are the expectations for this new season? Do you up your goals, and is the victory cigar going to be something that you do in the future again?
Yeah, I mean, the cigar has kind of been a team thing. I was happy I wasn't the only one smoking them this time around. Yeah, it's like I said, I haven't really had a whole lot of time. You know, I had a very good season last year, I guess. I mean, same year, but last season, and just going to try and, you know, currently feed off of that just for this one. This is probably going to be the only event I play this year for the PGA Tour schedule, and definitely looking forward to some downtime and kind of reassessing and looking back at sort of what I did and what I didn't accomplish.
Hi, Xander. What do you make of LIV Golf's attempts to get their players ranking points in the world rankings?
I don't really know. I haven't really thought a whole lot about it, to be completely honest. I think it's something was to be expected. They're, you know, starting up their own tour, and to legitimize themselves, they need world ranking points.
Xander, I think you visited the Zozo Town fan village yesterday and went to that Make-A-Wish booth, I think, and you wrote something down. Maybe just share with us what exactly you wrote and what was it all about?
Those kid games were very difficult. Unfortunately, I think it was streamed, so you saw how poorly I competed in the kid games. Hopefully the children today performed a lot better than I did, but yeah, I just wrote down my wish. Typically in the U.S. we don't share our wishes, but I guess I had to hang it up there. I just said, you know, if I could make one wish for the week, it'd be to win this tournament.
And being your fourth time here or third time here in Narashino, what does it take to make sure that you're out there giving yourself a chance on Sunday?
A lot of things. The course is very hard. The conditions are, you know, fortunately the weather's going to be awesome for the most part, but there's probably 5 par 4s out here that are very difficult that we play every day, and if you can kind of, you know, go through those holes for the week, maybe close to level par, and you can just play the rest of the course how you're supposed to play it, you're going to have a pretty good chance.
And lastly, from me, can you just maybe elaborate a little bit more about Maya's family ties with Japan, and I think you have some plans after this week as well, and maybe just share where you're going to and what you'll be up to.
Yeah, my wife, she's half Okinawan, half white, and her mom was born in Okinawa, or I think her mom was, Maya was born in Okinawa, my wife, and her mom's from Miyakojima, so I'm actually going to go visit I guess, I don't even know how I'd call it now, my wife's grandparents. I don't know, there's probably a way to say it, I'm not sure, but my wife's grandparents, I've never met them, so I'm very excited to go spend a couple nights in Miyakojima. We're going to fly out of Haneda to Miyakojima for 2 or 3 nights after the tournament. Hopefully, yeah. I'm sure that'll make them very happy.
And unless any others, I'll wrap it up with Thursday and Friday, be playing along with Hideki's group. What's that energy like feeding off of each other? It's great. I've played with Hideki a lot, I'd say, in my career so far, and him and Shota are a great team. We always have a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm sure the crowds will be pretty big, and pulling for, I mean, obviously him a lot, but, you know, I'm sure I have my loyal family support out there pulling for me along the way.
Olympic gold medalist in Japan, and family ties as well. His grandparents live in Japan. His mom grew up in Japan, wife from Okinawa, as he mentioned. So you have to think that it's just special being back in Tokyo this week, competing in the Zozo Championship, making his season debut. Take a look at his history doing just that. T3 at the CIMB Classic back in 2017-18. Also that 5th during that fall U.S. Open at Wingfoot, the West course. How about this player, Xander Schauffele, Eamon? Because for a while he was criticized as not winning enough. He's coming off a season where he won 3 times and some notable events as well.
Yeah, that was really the I suppose the yoke that had been placed around Xander's neck the last few years. He hadn't won since 2018. We kept hearing about it all the time, which in a way is a tribute because he kept putting himself in position to win so often, particularly in major championships. At one point, he was running at a 50% top 10 rate in career majors without winning them. But last season, I think, put that to rest. He won the Zurich with Patrick Cantley, wins the Travellers, wins the Genesis Scottish Open. And I would expect something good out of him this week. I mean, he plays a lot in Asia and has a pretty good result in Asia. He's won the gold medal in Tokyo. He's won the HSBC event in Shanghai. He's been second in that same event. He's been third in, we just saw the CIMB, which used to be played in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. So he's got a great depth of experience there. He's played this golf course twice as well as one top 10 finish at Accordia. But he seems like the guy who now needs to reset the goal, because I'm sure over the last few years it was winning more on the PGA Tour, and he just said in that press conference where he wants to feed off of last season. Well, the direction that he needs to feed off of last season, and that I'm guessing he's targeting, is the major championships.
And why not, when you consider his record in the majors?
Exactly, but his record in the majors was, by his standards, actually a little bit off this year. When you look at where he performed in those four major championships in 2022, he missed the cut at the Masters, and then he went 13th, 14th, and 15th in ties in the other three. Now, that's a pretty darn good year for most people. But these last couple of years of results didn't quite reflect the strength that he'd shown before, where top fives and top tens were pretty much his standard finish in major championships. That's where he got the reputation of a big game hunter. He hasn't quite hunted that big game yet, though.
He had 5 straight top 10s in the U.S. Open. He has 6 top 5 finishes in major championships, compared to Patrick Cantlay, who has 3 top 10 finishes in major championships. Those are the 2 players in my mind who are the best players without a major. It's interesting that they're such good friends and partner so well in President's Cups and Ryder Cups that it seems like their careers are kind of mirroring each other just a little bit. But you're right. I mean, we gave him that big game hunter moniker pretty quickly when it looked like a major championship was just around the bend for him. And I would say the only shot that comes to mind that he would really want to have back was a couple years ago at the Masters when he was chasing Hideki Matsuyama on the 16th hole on Sunday when he came up short. Missed it, really the only place you couldn't miss it. But other than that, his game just seems built for majors. Almost all of his stats are in the top 30, there or thereabouts, off the tee, on the greens. I mean, he's just a player that has very, very few weaknesses, and it seems that the more he has been in the mix of major champions, the more comfortable he has been.
And that's really the mystery of Xander Schauffele, because you can't really point to a series where the nerves got the better of him, where you could see him tense up, where he hit the wrong shot or made the wrong decisions. You know, he hit one poor shot, 16 at Augusta. He hasn't made a habit of folding on Sundays in major championships. He's not going out there and shooting 80 when he's in the mix. And then when you look at the statistics that you mentioned, they're almost eerily unvarying year to year. If you go looking for the weak spot, we just talked earlier about Victor Hovland's chipping game around the green and how that's a noticeable outlier with everything else that Victor does. You can't find that with Xander Schauffele. There is nothing that is blinking neon as a warning light out there at all. There's no alarm bells ringing in his game. And he seems to have a fairly strong attitude as well. He remains pretty even-keeled. He doesn't look like a guy who's got a lot of highs and lows. And to me, that's the inexplicable part of why he hasn't gotten one of those majors yet, other than the fact that they're hard to win and you're up against the best players in the world all the time. But he's been there so often for so many years now, probably, the last 5-6 years, he's been a consistent top 5, top 10 finisher in major championships. Even in his bad years, he's 3 top 15s in majors. I'm impatient to see what he does heading into the next major championship season. He doesn't have to answer the questions about not winning enough. He's clearly proven that he deserves his spot in the top 5 in the world, top 10 in the world consistently. Let's see what he does in those majors next year.
I think he's got to have LA Country Club, not far from where he grew up in San Diego, circled for next year in the U.S. Open. I love his wedge play,
so does Patrick
by the way. So does Patrick. I mean, they'll fight over it. I think they would sign up for that right now if there was a Sunday duel between those 2 good friends from Southern California.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that may actually be the major I'm most looking forward to next year. Of all, what Gil Hanse did with his redesign of that golf course was epic. You don't often see major championships played in the heart of urban areas.
Yeah.
That's going to be a special one.